There are so many different places in Horizon Worlds that it can be pretty difficult to find even a couple good ones between them. So that is why we are going to be talking about the 10 best Horizon Worlds that are worth checking out. And that especially now that meta won't even let you delete them from your home screen anyways. So let's start off this list with the first one, and that is Super Rumble. Now this is your standard battle royale free-for-all, where you will be dropped into an arena, all while you are trying your best to take out your enemies before they get you in return. But next to the standard blaster that you will find hanging from your waist, there are also some other weapons that you can find across the map. And this can go from sniper rifles that let you take out your targets from long distances, to even swords that are meant for close combat and that give you a speed boost while you're at it. And don't worry, even if you get taken down, then you will quickly respawn at a random point on the map until the timer runs out. And on number 2, we have the Office World. Now this one will actually let you visit the regional paper company that is a perfect replica from the popular TV series that goes by the same name. And while it is already nice to just visit it if you love the original show, it also has a lot of things that you can do in here. And that goes from watching some highlights on a big screen to interacting with the many different objects that you can find. And on top of that, there are also a lot of built-in minigames that you can play with friends and that as a reward will give you some in-game bucks that you can spend on stuff like accessories. I mean, you can even get your own customizable desk and feel like you really become a part of the office yourself. But if you want something more active, then there is number 3, known as the Super Boxing Gym. Because here, you will be putting in some work and train your very best to become the next boxing champion. But while there are also some other similar worlds out there, this one looks a bit more polished and also has a couple of extra things you can do compared to its competitors. For example, you can hit the gym and train the different muscle groups to increase your strength in VR. And that can be done by lifting some weights for your biceps, or just work out on the punching bag to improve your core. But once you feel ready, you can step into the ring with some other people and try to fight your way to victory. Just keep in mind that the boxing experience itself is still pretty basic, so don't go in expecting something like Thrill of the Fight inside this world. And for number 4, we have Element Battling Sandbox. Now this is probably best described as Avatar The Last Airbender, but then in a fighting arena. Because in here, you will have to choose one of the 4 elements that go from your standard earth and water to fire and air. But the cool thing though, is that each of these classes have their own unique commands on how to use their power. For example, with the earth element, you can pull out a rock from the ground and then push it towards your enemies. While on the other side, water will let you create icicles, and fire can let you shoot flames or even lightning if you hold the trigger long enough. So in that way, you can mix up your playstyle and see which element fits you best. However, there is also a completely free game on the official store that is known as Elements Divided, and that uses the same concept, but then with much better graphics. So if that's something you like, then you might want to check that out instead. But in general, this just makes me wish even more that we would get an official Avatar The Last Airbender game for virtual reality. But on number 5, we have NBA Arena. And this one is for all those basketball lovers out there, because in here, you can watch full NBA matches on courtside. But besides that, in this world, you will also find many other minigames where you can practice your dunk, for example, by using a trampoline, or just shoot some hoops with some basic basketball arcade machines. So overall, I think this is an awesome chance for people to watch their games for free, but then inside virtual reality. However, before we go to the next 5 must-visit places in Horizon Worlds, let's have a quick word from the company that made this video possible. Because none other than Cat VR, who are known to create VR treadmills that look like they come straight out of Ready Player One, are taking VR once again to the next level. Because while we normally are limited by the space and boundary system inside our virtual reality experiences, it is Cat VR that has been creating VR treadmills that let you run, crouch, and jump without any limitation. And since their most recent version, that is known as the C2 Core, is compatible with nearly every headset, it is often also considered as the dream upgrade for any VR setup. And they even go so far that for those hardcore fans, they also have high-end models that include things like haptic feedback or a vehicle hub, making it feel even more realistic, like riding on a horse inside VR. And as a cherry on top, you can also use the code VRelity for a $130 discount on your entire purchase. So for those who are interested, I'll leave a link in the description below. And that gets us directly to number 6, which is Bobber Bay Fishing. Now this one is great if you want to have a more chill experience and just kick back to catch some fish. Because in Bobber Bay, you can find a huge variety of different species to catch, as well as progressively upgrading your bait and rods. But while the world itself looks pretty chill, the physics of throwing out your line do take some getting used to. And because of that, it might also not be the best if you want a true fishing experience. So in that case, I would recommend to check out the free game that is known as Bait, that does a much better job at this. But even so, if you just want to chill with some friends while waiting for your next catch, then it is definitely still worth giving a shot. And at number 7, we have Pizza Kitchen. And this one kind of feels similar to the console game that is known as Overcooked, because in here, you'll be making some fresh pizzas from scratch, while you will also have to keep track of the customers and what they have ordered. And this can lead to some pretty fun interactions, especially when you're playing this with some other people, because everybody will be trying to get out their pizzas as quick as they can before the customers get mad and leave. And besides that, I also like that they put quite a lot of effort in the different steps that you have to perform, as well as in the ingredients and materials that you need for it. So if it was always your dream to run a pizza restaurant, then this one might be right for you. But that gets us to number 8, which is none other than venues. Now this is the place for watching your live concerts inside VR. And it is also a great spot to hang out and check out the many different worlds that you can hop into from here. Now, while you will also find some other small mini games inside this world, the main highlight, of course, are the portals to the different types of concerts that you can find here. Because when you have found one that interests you, you will then be teleported to the corresponding music valley. Now, of course, the type of concerts and performances changes quite regularly, so you might want to check out the roster that is available every now and then. But moving on to number 9, we have Kaiju City Showdown. And in here, you will be placed into a huge cityscape where you will be fighting against a big Godzilla-looking creature that is wreaking havoc onto all the buildings and people around it. But while you will definitely need to jetpack your way around and team up with others to take it down, you will also be able to find some power-ups that you can use in battle. But the unique twist is that sometimes, instead of on the defending team, you will also be the one embodying this huge Godzilla yourself. And when you do, it is your goal to destroy as much of the city as possible before getting taken out. But that gets us to number 10, which is Citadel. Now this is probably also one of the bigger worlds on this list, because unlike most other places, this one is almost like a standalone game itself. Because in here, you'll be fighting your way through the different levels that get slowly more complicated as you progress. And while you will start off with a simple futuristic looking blaster, after a while, you will be able to unlock some different and stronger equipment to help you on your journey. And besides just shooting some crystals in the introduction, you will be also fighting enemies and dodging traps, all while you're following through a story that is told by your trusty robot companion. And of course, while the overall narrative might not be anything to write home about, I do think it is clear to see that this is one of the Horizon worlds where the developers have spent a lot more effort into than most of the other lower quality things that are out there. But that's not all, because besides Horizon Worlds, there are also a lot of amazing VR games that you can get completely for free. So click on the video that you see on screen right now to make sure you don't miss out on that. And of course, stay awesome.